Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen, to Wendy's channel. Relish the Riker Down Under. Happy New Year. We haven't spoken to you much. We haven't done much for a long time. And that's why I'm coming on now to explain our excuses to why. Probably the weather is the biggest issue. My health is another one. Our dog sitting requirements is another. It sounds like I'm making a lot of excuses, and I am, because I'm old and I can. But we need to talk, folks, so grab a cup of tea, coffee, beverage, wherever you are. Sit back and answer me some questions. What is going on with the weather? We are in a time that I can't remember it ever being like this. Now, I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist. I don't watch news. I do see Google News, so sort of get a bit of I just look at the headlines. I don't click on many stories. But Wendy watches the news and she tells me a few things. But lately, just 3 days ago, there was a freak storm down on the Great Ocean Road, down in sort of the Victoria, South Australia area, right down on the Great Australian Bight. Now, if I think of it, I will cut back to the studio and show you on the map what it looks like for you overseas viewers, to get a bit of an idea. So let's do that now. Alright folks, there's our great southern land. The blue dot's where we are on the east coast of northern New South Wales. Down here somewhere is where that flood was, near Lorne. I'll bring it up here. There's Melbourne. Lorne's over here somewhere. Not far from Melbourne. A lot of people there on holiday. Hang on, I'll bring it up for you. That's it right there. The St. George River is the one that flooded, and it went over some campgrounds. And that's the Great Ocean Road, that loop. And that's where the river came out and washed all those people, cars, caravans, personal belongings, everything out into the ocean. And a lot of stuff's washed up on the beach. Just unbelievable. I cannot imagine how those people are coping. Your heart's got to go out to them. So it's right down the bottom of Australia, just to the west of Melbourne. There we go. There, folks, is an image on flood recovery continues for Great Ocean Road. Communities following historic deluge. So this was only a couple of days ago. And there's caravans, cars, camping gear, just getting washed away into the ocean. If I haven't done it, I will edit that bit out. So down in a place called Lorne, I think it's spelled L-O-R-N-E, there was some 160 odd, look, I can't think of the numbers, but a lot of rain in a 6-hour period, which caused a flash flood, which went through some campsites near the ocean, and it washed several cars into the ocean. They're gone. 2 were washed back up on the beach, and people were able to retrieve some personal goods out of them, like nothing electrical, of course, they'd be all ruined, but people were fishing iPads, and oh look, what a mess, what a heartache for it. This is all, holiday period stuff here in Australia, Christmas holidays. So all these campers, there's vision there. If you Google storm in Lorne or floods in Lorne, Victoria, just stuff getting washed out this river into the ocean. Caravans, cars, it does my head in. thinking about if that was my gear going out the bloody river. The other day in Sydney last week, 43 degrees. It's the hottest place in the world at that time. 43 degrees Celsius. That's what's that? 86, 116. The next day, ladies and gentlemen, was 23 degrees top temperature. It went from 43 one day to 23 the next. What the F is happening? Here yesterday in Grafton, we went into town late yesterday afternoon because I went and picked up the back wheel for this bike. I put a new tyre on it. This is my first ride. The storm that hit Grafton, it blew over a dirty great jacaranda tree on the main street out of Grafton, like closed the road. And we went around. Luckily we were able to get around. The wind was biblical. The rain was torrential for a brief moment. We got home. Yes, the road was covered in litter, but no rain. So our garden didn't get watered. Now, dryness. Now, do you remember not that long ago we were complaining about it was so wet we couldn't get up the driveway? I think it was only a matter of 6 months, 8 months ago. We could not get up the driveway. It was so wet. It is so dry now that pretty much everywhere I look is brown grass. It's just everything's dead. I said back when the floods were on, I said to the people, oh yeah, but in a couple of years we'll be complaining about all the fires we're getting. Well, they're going to happen now. They've been happening in Victoria. Victoria there's been houses with hundreds of people displaced from fires, houses lost, animals, you can't count the animals that they've lost from bushfires in Victoria. Some were lit by, well, I don't want to call them human because they can't be, lit by arseholes. So the weather is, I don't know what's happening overseas, wouldn't have a clue, but the weather here, wow, just unbelievable. And it's been too hot for us to go travelling, as well as being school holidays. You know, there's children everywhere, and caravan parks double their rates usually at Christmas holidays, school holidays. Wendy mentioned that we were going, excuse me, I'm going to have to cough. I'll edit that bit out. Wendy mentioned on our little last video that we were going on a cruise with our daughter and son-in-law, youngest daughter, over the Christmas New Year break, which we did, over to New Zealand and back. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could get a helicopter, a big one, and pick up our house and fly it over to New Zealand and put it down on top of a hill, I bloody would. What a beautiful country. It was so picturesque in places it wasn't funny, and even when it wasn't picturesque it was beautiful. And a lot cooler. It's something about old age and heat. Young people probably don't understand, but as you get older, the heat just does you in. Oh well. And for damn near 2 weeks now, I've had a flu, a man flu, and you know what a man flu can do. Hang on, I might shut up for a while I go through this high speed bit. Okay, you might be able to hear me better now. So, where was I? Yeah, I've had a man flu that would kill. Honestly, I've been coughing up bits of lung, and you don't want to know. For nearly 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks in a couple of days. I haven't been to a doctor because, what do they say? You go to a doctor, you'll be better in 7 days. If you don't go to the doctor, you'll be okay in a week. In this case, it's been 2 weeks nearly. Maybe I should have gone. If it doesn't get better soon, I will, because there's definitely something in the lung. Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't been anywhere. School holidays, the heat, the dog sitting, because while we're away for a couple of weeks with the kids, a lady was looking after our dog, so we don't want to sort of overdo that friendship. She loves the little fella, but you know, you got to sort of rein it back a little bit. But we want to go. Like I said to Wendy, why don't we go with Baxter up to Ebor, which is not that far from here, a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe. Quite high in altitude, so a lot cooler. Like it's about 6 to 7, even sometimes 8 degrees cooler up there than it is here. Humidity much the same, I think, close, but a lot cooler. You know, it's been, like yesterday was 36 degrees. What's that? 36, 60, 72, 102 in the old money. Which is not that bad, I suppose, but 36 is just too hot to go riding in, and you certainly couldn't camp. It's just not comfortable. You can't sleep at night, you can't do anything through the day. Well, old people can't, young people can do anything. So, yeah, we're just coming up to where this tree came down yesterday. Completely blocked the road, pouring rain, people didn't know what to do. It's just here on the right where the tape is what's left of the tree. That's just branches. The whole thing come across the road, and we just sort of went around the low side there and got out of here quick. We were only a couple of cars. It just happened within a few seconds of us arriving to it, right in the middle of a big storm. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to complain. I'm a very happy man. It is so good to wake up every day. And the older you get, the more you appreciate it, because there's not many left. Well, you're certainly counting down the days anyway. I've got a beautiful bike under me. I've got a beautiful wife and Baxter at home. And we have got a lot of fun ahead of us if we can just get our bloody asses into gear. So folks, I will love you and leave you. Again, Happy New Year. And I hope we can bring you some good footage of some nice places in Australia. The sooner the better. Oh my stars, look at this guy in a wheelchair. That is amazing. It's one of those balancing jobbies. That's clever. How does he do it? Wow. I thought I was talented. That's amazing, that wheelchair. It's like a, what do you call those things that people don't use anymore? The two wheels and a handle. Can't think of it. Alright folks, over and out. Have yourselves a wonderful week wherever you are, and enjoy your lives, and see what you can do about the weather in Australia. If there's anything you can do, please, we'd appreciate it. Cheers.